Hello folks, this is Durag Wisdom on Y2K 19.09.26, and I'm in the middle of watching the hearings on this Trump and Nazi bastard. And the one thing that I'm learning so far is that the head of the director of national intelligence, he's breaking the law. I mean, throughout this entire hearing, he is supposed to have sent. He's supposed to have sent the whistleblower's report directly to the legislature. And this creep, sorry for calling him a creep, I know he's a Navy SEAL, I know he's been a lifetime person who maybe has served in combat and stuff like that. If I call him a creep, I apologize, but he is a disgrace to whatever awards and accolades he has on his uniform. What these Trumpist Nazi maggots are doing is they're creating their own law, the Trump law, the Nazi Trump law. The simple thing, and this is what the Democrats have been hitting again and again, you got this report from the whistleblower, you shall turn it over to Congress. This creep who's on our TV now, this guy, is, heroic Navy SEAL, he didn't do that. He didn't turn over that. He went to the Trump toilet bowl house.
In this case, because of the two things you mentioned, that the president is the one person that's above the intelligence community in your sense about executive privilege, you did not forward the complaint to us.
He's claiming that when he got this report from this whistleblower,
no, I understand that. You've been very clear on that. But let me just
he got this report from the whistleblower, but according to his interpretation of the law, it wasn't a vital concern.
A private citizen.
How can that be?
Had access to and had a conversation as a result of that with a foreign.
This is a Trump-appointed acting.
That person for a favor.
He's supposed to. A lot of these appointments that Trump is putting in, they're acting. He wants to avoid the congressional oversight. He wants to undermine the three branches of our federal government.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's very difficult to answer hypothetical questions. I'm not sure I understand.
Well, I won't make it hypothetical. Let's say instead of being a conversation between President and the President of Ukraine, who was a U.S. Senator who, let's say, was the head of the Foreign Relations Committee and was asking for the foreign leader.
I understand.
So would you forward that to our committee?
Sir, that would not be, once again, I think I mentioned that a little bit early in our conversation, that the United States Senator is not a member of the intelligence community.
Okay.
And the Director of National Intelligence does not have the authority and responsibility for the U.S. Senate. So any wrongdoing in that regard should be referred to the Department of Justice for criminal investigation.
Well, I respectfully disagree with you, because obviously that would be a solicitation by that U.S. Senator for interference in our elections, and that's in your jurisdiction, correct?
Well, election interference is indeed, yes, Congressman Walsh.
Okay.
But once again, Congressman, although it is, as far as what the legal responsibility to do in compliance with the Intelligence Reform Act, the Whistleblower Protection Act, it does not, the statute does not allow for that to be done.
Well, I disagree with that.
Yes, sir.
But here's the dilemma that you were in and we're in, but we're going to now be able to follow up because executive privilege, if it existed, was
executive privilege?
Under your approach, as you saw it, it means that no one would be investigating the underlying conduct, because in this case, executive privilege applies or may apply. And number two, the president who had the conversation is above the law. So that's a dilemma for a democracy.
It certainly is. And this guy went because he interpreted the law the way Trump wants. He's a Trump appointee.
Concern
acting.
for executive privilege.
I understand. But the Federal Bureau of Investigation never did a follow-up investigation, right?
I believe that they have concluded the investigation. I'm not
My
sure.
friends,
In addition to being involved with this matter here, I also have other pressing matters. And Director, I apologize.
what a nightmare we're in, ladies and gentlemen. Nightmare.
Who is the subject of...
You can't even trust the Justice Department.
That provided the opinion.
The Justice Department, Barr, is named as one of the people that the Ukrainian ambassador, that the Ukrainian president should go to. The Justice Department doesn't work for Trump. It's supposed to work for us. Folks, I've been watching this thing as much as I could today, the whole thing. I'm like, to understand each side of the argument, in terms of like the Trumpist side as well as our side, you got to really pay attention. All of us have to pay attention. The law is that these whistleblowers have to be protected. They're doing it legally, so they're not leaking. They must be protected. And these whistleblowers have to be honored for their integrity, that they're going to lose everything, their whole career, because of what they've done. Revealing, exposing the criminality of this creep that we have in our lives now. And the contention of the Trumpists is, and this guy who's a Navy SEAL, probably maybe a combat veteran, who honestly, I don't even like saying bad things about a combat veteran. But he is, as they said in that movie 7 Days in May, you had one character played by Kirk Douglas who saw that the character played by Burt Lancaster, the general who's trying to take over our country in 7 Days in May, that he dishonored his uniform, he dishonored his medals, and the Kirk Douglas character recognized that. And that's what this guy's doing. He's dishonoring whatever he's done heroically by defending this Nazi mobster president. This guy whistle blew because, or this gal, because it was an emergency. National security. The president creep had once again done something to undermine us. And that this director of national intelligence, who replaced Dan Coates, an honorable person, this one, a Trump appointee, decides, instead of sending the whistleblower's exposure, his findings or her findings to the legislature, he decided that he's going to go to the White House first. The Trump Justice Department, the Barr Justice Department, not our Justice Department. And a president, a Nazi scumbag Trump mother effer, who's trying to undermine 240 years of our experiment with democracy, and we still have a ways to go. This creep, after 240 years, are we going to end our democratic republic now? Because of a Trump? Because of an undermining, stinking Trump? Frankenstein monster doesn't think so. Lady Death doesn't think so. And of course, Wolfman thinks it sucks. I'm a baby bungler. We gave this generation this creep Trump. And I'm telling you right now, I'm here with you folks, you young folks, and you old folks like me who hate this creep Trump as much as I do. To the entire day, I've learned that these creeps want to stretch the law until it breaks. And that right now, the Democratic Party, corporatists included, are trying to protect our constitutional rule of law that has protected our fragile constitutional democratic republic for 240 years. This temporary director of national intelligence should have brought the whistleblower's complaint to the Congress, to the legislature. No interpretations. You do what the law says. You shall do it. And that's what it's all about. The rule of law, which the Trumpist Nazis are trying to destroy.
Did you think it was prudent, folks, to give a veto power over whether the Congress saw this serious allegation
of national intelligence
to the two people implicated by it? Is that
turn over the whistleblower complaint?
With the situation as it is, Congressman Maloney.
That's it.
Only the White House can
this guy,
or waive executive
this
privilege.
acting director,
to go to. And as
Dan Coates would have.
My only avenue of that
didn't.
was to go to the Department of Justice, Office of
Department
Legal
of
Counsel.
Justice.
You understand, sir,
the man bar who believes that it's okay for the president to commit crimes.
These serious allegations from ever reaching the Congress. Quick question. In response to Mr. Himes, I think you left the door open that you spoke to the President of the United States about
ladies and gentlemen and friends,
sir, did you speak
I value,
to the President
I don't
of the United States
take
at any time
my
about this
liberties
complaint?
for granted. I know we have a lot to do fighting corporations and corporate Democrats and fascist Trumpists.
Mr. Director, I know you speak to the President.
I know that.
It's a simple question,
but we
sir.
still have the freedom.
Did you speak to him about
We're
this
not being
whistleblower complaint?
surveyed 24 hours a day in our homes, at least not yet.
The United States is privileged.
So you're not denying that you spoke to the President? I'm not asking you for the content, sir. I don't want the content. Did you or did you not speak to the President about this whistleblower complaint?
Watch this shit.
I speak to the President about a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of
things. Anything that I say to the President of the United States in any forum is privilege.
Privilege, all privilege. It's all about privilege.
You spoke to the President?
I am just telling you what
they're taking advantage of that privilege.
Anything I say to the President is confidential.
Thank you, sir.
He broke the law. He was supposed to send the whistleblower complaint to Congress. That's it. He didn't. And we have lawbreakers, people who don't respect the rule of law in our government now, contaminating us, our lives, our futures, and especially the futures of our children and our planet. Everything.